Everyone keeps saying Up is heartwarming, beautiful, and sad, but I watched it again last night, and honestly, I couldn't stop thinking this is one of the most toxic, masculine texts I've ever seen. Like, genuinely, this movie is basically a dissertation in patriarchal rot, and we've all been emotionally manipulated into calling it cute. Let me explain. The film opens with this explorer, Charles Muntz, who's out to discover a lost world. Just right out the gate, we are forced to encounter colonial toxic masculinity. It's literally the masculine urge to dominate the planet dressed up as adventure. It is the male desire to conquer unexplored nature instead of coexisting with it. It's climate colonialism. For the simple, this is a man exploring a jungle. But for brilliant minds, it's about how patriarchal culture turns the earth itself into something to own, name, and exploit, the same way it commodifies women's body, emotions, and labor. Also, everyone says the first 10 minutes are the saddest thing ever. I say it's one of the most dangerous. Carl meets Ellie, who, bless her, is bursting with life, energy, color, and voice. She literally talks for both of them. Carl, meanwhile, stands there, silent, stoic, helpless. People see that as sweet. I see it as weaponized incompetence. It's the way men feign helplessness so women do the emotional and practical labor for both of them. Ellie builds their dreams. Ellie holds the relationship together. Ellie paints, fixes, organizes. Carl just sits, and then she dies. And everyone calls that tragic. Ellie dies from the exhaustion of emotional labor, from holding the weight of a man's inner deadness for too long. And what does Carl do after? He floats away, literally detaching from responsibility by turning their shared home into a patriarchal escape pod. Then there's the relationship between Carl and Russell. It's nothing but an apprenticeship in patriarchy. Carl treats Russell the same way toxic fathers treat sons, withholding affection as a training mechanism. Russell keeps seeking validation that Carl refuses to give, mirroring the same manipulative feedback loop that keeps men emotionally stunted. Why can't people see this? It's all there. The hierarchy, the performative gruffness, the gendered mentorship of emotional repression. And the movie frames this as growth. Don't gaslight me. Now, let's talk about the fridging. Ellie exists solely to inspire Carl's plotline. She is given color, vibrancy, agency, only to be neatly erased so that he can go have his hero's journey. Her death is aestheticized, sanitized, rendered beautiful. It's the classic trope, kill the woman so the man can feel something. We've seen it in 1,000 stories because male writers can't imagine a man growing unless a woman is reduced to trauma fuel. And honestly, the lack of other women in the film is deafening. Not one major female voice, no black women, no queer women, no one outside the heteronormative white cis structure. Ellie's ghost is literally the only woman allowed to exist, and even she can't speak anymore. Okay, let's talk about the dogs, because people love the dog, but can't you see what's going on? Charles Muntz gives them voice boxes, literally programming nature to obey him.
I think there's something wrong with your collar. You must have bumped it.
Yeah, your voice sounds funny!
He manipulates the natural world to speak in a language he controls. This is patriarchal anthropocentrism. It is how toxic masculinity colonizes even the wild. It can't allow chaos or difference. It must dominate, reprogram, and command obedience.
Well, thanks for keeping us dry anyway, Ellie.
Even after death, Ellie can't rest. Carl constantly talks to her. He asks for her guidance. He projects his guilt onto her memory. She becomes a spiritual, emotional support system. This is patriarchal, necro-emotional exploitation. Women are expected to be emotional laborers even in death. He can't let her be free. He can't let her end. It's haunting, literally and symbolically. What about the balloon? Don't even get me started. The floating house is just a metaphor for male detachment from consequence. Carl literally rises above the world, untethered from responsibility, floating on nostalgia and grief he refuses to process. And people call it magical? No, it's an aestheticization of avoidance. It is how patriarchy always finds a way to make its escapism look profound. Up is about how men turn their inability to communicate into art. It's about how patriarchy disguises detachment as adventure, a erasure as love, and control as wonder. It's a story about how women build, nurture, and dream, and men turn those dreams into monuments to themselves. It's about the colonization of emotion, nature, and even death. It's about how patriarchy, like Carl's house, will always try to float away from accountability, tethered only by the memories of the women it destroyed. It is a masterclass in how patriarchy hides its subliminal messages. The shallow mind will see the balloons as whimsical, but to me, with a very high IQ, they're warning signs. And until we deflate them, we'll keep calling oppression adventure.
Ah!